Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Creating Things Together. I am Christina. This is James. We talk about the creative process, how we create things together. We are a creative entrepreneurship couple that likes to eat apple slices because I see one on the table.
I have an apple slice for you, Christina. I'm going to play. I'm gonna put it somewhere very special.
Kinky. Oh. If you're watching the video, if you're listening to this, James just put it on the mic for some reason.
It looks so funny on the thing. I did this before we started this podcast. I put one of the apple rings she was snacking on. How dare you?
What are we talking about today,
I'm
James?
gonna eat that.
I'll eat it.
No, you can eat it because I had a big lunch.
What are we talking about?
Today we're talking about a couple of different things.
Ooh.
One of those things being how we approach editing. Mm-hmm. Another one of those things being how we approach freelancing.
James, there's three
and another
topics
one of
you
those
can't...
things being working together, according to my notes.
You're such a novice. You can't even remember the three things we're talking about. It's about, this is the first
I'm
official...
focused on being present in the moment with you, looking into your eyes.
You're so sweet. All of these episodes, we've had
licking your skin, but not literally, emotionally licking your skin.
Who are you?
I'm your husband, James.
I'm not married.
We've been married for some time now. We've been through a lot.
Okay.
I know that you had the accident and now you don't remember anything, but soon I will fill in the gaps.
Okay, so what he's referring to is I got hit by a semi-truck, and other than that, none of it was true.
She was in a car when she got hit by a semi-truck.
Yes, that is true. But all of these episodes have been really, I guess the last two. It's not like we've recorded 1,000 of them yet, but they've just been kind of backstory on who we are. Mm-hmm. Me dropping out of college, it wasn't one of our first, but it was one of our first big creative work trips. Mm-hmm. That was last episode, and this episode is going to be specifically about kind of our creative process. So welcome to the show.
Okay.
Shout out to Gary V.
Hey, you know what I just realized? Do we have enough space on that card?
Yeah.
2 hours?
2 hours and 42 minutes.
Okay, just making sure. Didn't want our audio to cut off. Audio is pretty important for a podcast.
Just a little bit.
Having it being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly, we have a new camera. And
yes, we do.
We are excited to share more about that camera with you later. But for now, no.
You're not even going to tell them what camera it is?
It's a Sony A6400. I wasn't sure how much you wanted to disclose.
Yeah, I really, it is what it is. I'm not trying to be, I actually struggled with this.
You have your plans, and I wanted to respect those plans.
Well, let me fill you in on some details. So I actually struggled a little bit with feeling like, okay, we have the camera, now we need to make a video tomorrow. That way we can be one of the first ones out. And I was not excited about that. I was like, that sucks. I feel like I'm just going to make a half-baked video like everyone else. We have a
You're
very...
gonna chase the rabbit, as they say in journalism.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to chase that rabbit, yo.
No.
So we have a specific video that we want to shoot with the Sony A6400.
You've had a lot of cameras in your life recently.
Yeah,
so
which is weird for me.
You've been confusing yourself probably.
Yeah.
We also got new phones.
Yeah, James dropped his phone.
I dropped my phone, so we got the new iPhone. Oh, it was upside down. Got new iPhones. I got the 10s Max. She got the 10s.
Yes, I downgraded.
How are you liking your phone?
I like it. I'm glad that I downgraded from size.
Yes.
Because these I have big hands, but I just didn't need a phone that was
they're still woman hands.
14 inches. Today's International Women's Day.
I know, and women have great hands.
Thank you.
So, I'm not saying they're not valuable, but they are woman hands.
James, how do you approach editing?
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about editing and how we approach it, as Christina just stated.
Gosh.
And different things about what makes it special to us, why we care about it.
We've introed this topic 7 times, James. Just get to it.
Whatever. Let's just talk about
so
apple slices.
I edit videos a lot differently than James. James likes to edit videos badly, and I like to edit videos goodly. So
I'd say that's a fair assessment.
So James actually taught
Even though
me.
I taught you everything you know.
Well, I was about to get there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that part. I noticed
No.
you were starting to say that. I retract my statement. Go ahead. Carry on. Make it long, please.
Okay. You missed that from the disrespect that I was throwing.
I couldn't see through the shade.
Whoa, guys. Fam. Get so lit. So
I feel so trendy.
So if you didn't listen to the first episode, I dropped out of college. My nose itches. Pause.
Get it?
Okay. That cocaine, man.
Yeah, it'll do it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing at the personal trainer?
Don't worry about
gym
it
today.
Okay. So I dropped out of college, and immediately after I dropped out of college, I got into like the Adobe Creative Suite.
Oh, by the way, semi-personal trainer. Like he trains you and a bunch of other people at the same time.
He's considered a personal trainer.
But it's not like you have him as your person.
Can I please
like,
just talk about editing?
We're not that great yet. That's where we're getting to. Personal trainer, helicopter, yacht.
Can I just talk about editing
Go ahead.
now? I'm so passionate about creating, and I'm not trying to talk about exercising right now.
Okay.
Lit, fam.
We do need to touch on that soon, though, because that's a fun new development. In
Well,
our
yeah,
lives,
once I like get it into into motion.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Editing. My gosh. So when I dropped out of college, I got the Adobe Creative Suite. We worked at a church, and just
easy way to get it for free.
Easy way to get it for free. And I actually started in Photoshop. Still to this day, I hate that software with a fiery passion. I think it's just stupid. I like Illustrator.
I love Photoshop.
Yeah, but I ended up designing a magazine. James, throughout the whole process, we decided to start filming, kind of documenting and doing like a weekly journal of the magazine process. And he already had something on his plate. I'm not sure what it was. Probably just didn't want to edit it. So I asked him, teach me how to edit. And he was like, Premiere Pro is a very in-depth software. I don't know if I could just teach you it in a day. And I was like, teach me how to edit. So it was like an afternoon where he just taught me how to cut. He taught me the key commands. They were actually the Final Cut key commands. So
that's right.
I still I've modified my key commands since, but technically I've
you
never
started from that foundation though.
Yeah, I've never edited on Final Cut, but most of my key commands are Final Cut key commands.
The reason being because I came from Final Cut, so all of my key commands transferred over from Final Cut 7 to Premiere when I switched over.
Yeah.
I just basically made Premiere into Final Cut.
And now I just have very custom key commands because I'm a big deal, So I learned how to edit in one day, and it's possible to. Let me add a caveat, asterisk. I learned how to edit.
You learned how to operate the software.
There we go.
Day.
Yeah, I was not a very good edit. All I needed to know how to do was cut, and then export, and that's really all you need to know in the beginning of editing. And then
to get started,
to get started, that's your foundation. And then you just, you fast forward things, you slow things down. You
start incrementing inspiration from other people that you follow into a sort of soup that happens in your head. And
I love soup.
It starts out with just one or two ingredients, and then you see people who edit things that look a lot like everyone else's edits, and then
they have the same flavored soup.
As they start to diversify their soup from like just a chicken noodle soup to like a beautiful
chicken noodle stew,
curry, chicken, beef, fish, turkey, avocado, cabbage soup. Wow. Then you start to develop what is called a style.
Ooh, do you think I have a style at this point?
I think you have hit a place where you are developing a style that I can see clearly.
What's that style? Tell me. Enlighten me, fam.
I need to stop
saying fam.
It's your style.
No, tell me some of the the pinnacles where you go, oh, that's a Christina thing.
So one thing you do is you have a bit of a quirkiness to the way you edit certain things, where
still ambiguous.
The way that you insert humor into edits is really funny and interesting to me. Aww. It's an expression of your mind and your sense of humor, and you'll show it to me and you're like, I did this. And I'm like, you're so ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's that. There's a sort of, it's really hard to describe, but
clearly it's not that good.
There's a nice punchy polish to the way that you edit that I enjoy.
Yeah, saturation all the way up to 200.
Right. That's different from other people.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing with the style is it's ever changing as well. Like I look back on some of my videos and I go,
you're always adding entropy. You're always adding more to the soup. So that's the more you add, that's when you start to see bursting forth this aroma of your own style, your own personal style.
Did I mention that I love
feels
soup?
A little bit different than the stuff that you see all around. But in the beginning, it's like it's way more fragmented. It's way more. You obviously watched this person a lot, and you started to edit like this person. So we all do that.
But eventually, you start to get tired of it.
You start to get right,
and then that's when you start to change things. Did I mention that I like soup? I feel like I've said that already, but I love soup. So having
once or
that
11th,
and once or 11th,
yeah.
Having that as a metaphor is actually really tasty. Dad jokes.
What's fun is when you talk about these things, you can often make a delineation between a soup and a stew, right? Or melting pot, if you will, because, for example, they call New York City a melting pot. I just find this interesting. It's an interesting side note. New York City is not a soup. Okay. It is a melting pot. Okay. Reason being is because you have a lot of different cultures coming together. They're not simply melting into one
That's what
culture.
A melting pot is, though. You put a bunch of stuff in a melting pot and it all forms into one.
But a melting pot to me means that you're putting solid things into it.
Okay.
That always stay what they are, right? A carrot never turns into a chicken.
Well, okay, when you say melting pot, I think of like chocolate and cheese.
Interesting.
So melting pot is maybe not the best
example. So they call it a melting pot, but I'll make melting pot synonymous with stew. Right?
Yeah.
So a stew...
Can we name our kids Stew?
I
Stew Pickles?
I think that's a great name. Stew Pickles Red. And then... Oh, dill pickles too. We could do that. Kosher. We have a kosher pickles Red.
Just a bunch of pickles.
So where was that? Oh yeah.
Stew.
So if you have a stew, you have a lot of things that are in there that influence the entire stew. Yet they are not becoming one another.
They stand individually. The cultures stand individually. You have, if you go to New York City, you're going to have some Chinese culture. You're going to have some Haitian culture, maybe. I'm trying to see how many cultures you know.
I'm quickly running out. I'm from South Carolina.
You've got whites and browns.
You have
That's
you have different versions of Hispanic cultures.
You've got every country in the Caribbean.
You have every country in the Caribbean. Yeah, you got a bunch of Jamaica thrown in there. Isn't there a little Jamaica? That's probably a thing,
Jamaica
right?
Queens. What's where my mom...
But is it called Little Jamaica?
No.
Is there
Nobody calls it Little Jamaica.
Is there like a little... There's like a little China, right?
There's Chinatown. There's a little Haiti in
Maybe I'm thinking of like
South
the
Florida.
restaurant Little China that you find everywhere.
Yeah.
Chinatown, Jamaica, whatever.
We're working on his culture.
So they don't... The Jamaican culture doesn't turn into the Chinese culture because you don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want them to all just become one... gelatinous gloop.
That's what a melting pot is gelatinous gloop.
Right.
I get what you're saying, though.
I think it's so interesting.
Yeah.
The differentiation between a stew and a soup. Sometimes you want a stew, sometimes you want a soup.
What's the difference between a soup? I
soup,
want something to eat.
Soup to me means that everything has melted together into one. Think of a bone broth.
That's
right?
more of a stew.
I know, and I understand that there's a point where the analogy breaks down. Okay, a cheese and chocolate melting pot, right?
Oh my gosh!
It all melts into. The difference is it either all melts into one or it doesn't.
Can you just tell me your history behind editing? I get what you're saying.
Style is like soup.
First of all, don't yell at me.
Style is like soup.
Much better. No, I get what you're saying.
Your style is a soup.
Thank you. Yeah. Great. I get what you're saying. The metaphor and the soliloquy that you were trying to come up with. It's not a soliloquy, but you're not the only one that has come up with that idea. Somebody has already more eloquently said that, and I just say that to humble you. I love you. But no, I get it. It's, yeah. I can say it in 30 seconds. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. There once was a man from Peru.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, literally. Yeah. So you
there
have
been many
the city
men from Peru.
You've got the city, right?
Women.
And you've got all of these different cultures. They're the different. They're the different assets.
Hard to do, right?
Yeah. Right. They're the different assets in the soup or the stew. I say assets because we edit videos. And then, so you have all of them. They stand individually, but you have the broth of the soup or the stuff that mixes around in the soup. That's the American culture. And you never forget your individual cultures, but you always you have that common ground with the Jamaicans and the Indonesians, because you have that American bond, but you still have the pride in your culture. So anyway, sniffle. You've edited, you were homeschooled, so you had a lot of time on your hands.
Yes. So I've been editing videos. This is one of the few passions in my life where I can actually trace it back to a roughly specific point. Some people, I envy these people. They're like, on March 30th, 1977, I decided I was going to be a skydiver for a living.
Okay.
I never had that. I have none of that in my life.
Okay.
It's more like, it's somewhere roughly between, when I was like 6 and when I was like 16, I decided I was going to be a creative person.
Okay.
And then everything's just kind of flowed from there.
Yeah.
With editing, I started in 6th grade.
Cute.
And the reason why I know that is because...
that's when we became friends. It was just destined to be...
The reason why I know that is because that's when I got, being part of the production world in church, that's when I got interested in videos. I would see them on the screen, everything.
What's that, Mom?
I thought, oh, that's an interesting way to like tell a story. That's an interesting form of art that I could see myself playing around with in my free time, right?
Be honest, were they good videos?
Way less loud than drums. Wait, the videos that I made?
No, the videos
in the beginning, mine were great.
Okay. So were the videos that
you
saw, were they like, wow, that's inspiring? Or was it like,
I really don't
shout to the Lord, lower thirds? Okay, we get it.
No, there were plenty of bad ones. I really don't know what good stuff made me inspired. I'm sure it was in there though. I'm not sure exactly what I saw that really inspired me. Yeah. But I went to my one of the people I was how do you explain it?
Who?
Well, he was the...
You can't really say the name.
He was one of the youth leaders.
Yeah.
My friend Danny, and he
That's
taught
an
me...
ambiguous name. Why would you choose the name Danny?
Because it's his real name.
I was trying to save you. Yeah.
No, I don't care if I say his name. I was just trying to figure out how to define him.
Danny might not want to be affiliated with you.
Well, he shouldn't have been a part of my life. So
you asked him...
I asked him, hey, like, how do I do this editing thing, right?
Hi, Mr. Sir.
Hi,
Hi,
Mr. Danny.
My name's James.
How do I? We were like such close friends.
Yeah.
Me and Danny. We really, so, and he was like, he was
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still alive. We say was, like, yeah, rest in peace. No, but that's cool.
So I started asking him because I noticed that he had an editing software. I started inquiring about that. And then I got my laptop. I got a laptop at some point, and then...
You got a laptop for free,
started poking
right?
around. No, that's later on in the story.
Okay.
I started poking around with Windows Movie Maker on an Acer laptop. And then I got this thing called Video Explosion.
Watch out.
I don't know if you guys remember this. This is funny because I don't think about this a lot. I think it's what it was, Video Explosion, and that was the first editing software where you really had some, like, you could do some stuff with it, right? And so I started poking around with that, and it had all sorts of transitions. Man, I gotta look this up later. Oh my gosh, nostalgia. So Video Explosion, I used that for forever. Mm-hmm. And then I got a laptop free from the church because I was helping out with videos. Yeah. That was amazing. That was such a huge deal in my life because I always wanted a Mac.
Yeah.
And it was, and
we still have that Mac.
I mean, I'm like, I'm like what, between 10 and 20 years old at that time. And I thought, hey, how do I get $2,000?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, that's a thing that's going to be difficult to obtain.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it for free, and that was huge. Like, I had this thing sitting in front of me.
You basically had it, and the way that you paid for it was by making videos.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was the payment.
Which I will say to, like, if you guys are...
Thank you, Alan.
If you guys are listening...
Thank you, Danny and Alan.
If there's someone out there, for those of you who are listening, if you don't have, like, money is not a barrier. Don't have that mindset. Money doesn't even exist. You can make whatever you want happen.
That was always a barrier for me.
Yeah, but not really, because you got a laptop. You were creative with it. You hustled your way into getting a laptop. So just think creatively, exchanging time or whatever.
There's so many different ways that you can get something that you're after that is outside of the way that you initially think that you can get it.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of that stuff comes from just asking questions, going to the right people and asking the right questions.
Yeah, for sure.
You can get so much out of that. So anyway, I made my way up into Final Cut 7, used that for forever. And then I finally switched over to Premiere. And then the rest is history so far. Maybe I'll switch over to like Sony Vegas or something at some point.
I spoke with somebody at the Verizon store. He's like, yeah, I just got Sony Vegas. So I'm like starting editing. I was like, okay, cool. I don't think I've ever seen that. Is that like a legitimate software though?
It's a legitimate software.
Okay.
I haven't kept up with it.
Is it a legitimate software from 2007 or is it like active?
It's definitely legitimate from 2007. Might be legitimate still.
But no guarantees.
Somebody put out a poll on Twitter the other day. I was like, which editing software do you use? And there were a lot of different responses.
Microsoft Paint.
I forget if that one was on there. But yeah, I think people actually, not everybody in the world uses Premiere, Christina, believe it or not.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Shut
your
mouth.
I won't. I will speak out.
You speak
I am Libertus.
Is that a superhero name?
I am full of liberty. Get it?
Yeah,
Libertus.
That's great. That's really funny, James. Well done. So James taught me how to edit. What a segue. James taught me how to edit, and I actually had a lot of, I guess, things planted in my mind by him, not intentionally, but I always believed that there was a lot of things that you just did not do. You don't ever add more saturation to a clip. You don't ever rotate a clip because it's crooked. So James kind of indoctrinated me to his cult and made me marry him.
It's been great, right? It's been great, right?
And I'm just now starting to...
I don't know why she felt that way, by the way.
Because
I mean, I know,
a thing...
I can empathize with you. I'm just saying I didn't mean for you to feel that way. I have to defend myself whenever you say that.
Yeah. James just has very strong opinions, and you can still do it. But
I do not have strong opinions.
You don't?
No.
You really sound opinionated about that.
I don't.
Okay.
Have strong opinions about anything ever.
Okay.
All right? Carry on.
Okay. I don't like your tone.
See that? If I did that in our relationship, that's where that would end up. That would be the final resting place of
James.
She would not allow me to do that.
I think it would be so funny to just have like have a podcast where it's like James's limits and like me shutting that ish down. But he's fairly well behaved. Anyway,
you wear a sturdy pair of pants in this relationship.
Leggings.
For sure.
Yeah. A steady pair of yoga pants, the most flexible of them all. Yeah, but I just now started to get confident in the sense of like, okay, screw what James would do. Because I don't necessarily like doing what James would do sometimes. I don't like these colors. There's a period of time where our colors looked so bad, in my opinion, but James thought they looked good. And I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not editing this video for him. So I just started kind of getting that confidence in doing whatever the heck I want to do. And I think that also comes from doing videos that I've never done before. So I was very much in a bubble of...
Great point.
Yeah, I was very much in a bubble. Thank you. of creating vlogs, basically. And that can be a bit limiting, but when you start to do stuff for other people, freelancing, that's when...
And when you start to have to overcome those challenges.
Yeah.
So the problem solved.
Yeah. So when you're doing stuff for other people, they'll ask you to do something other than a vlog. I don't want to just be... When I'm marketing myself, I don't want to just be known as the vlog editor. Because number one, with vlogs are a very personal thing. And a lot of people don't either want it to be known that they have editors or they don't want it to, like, they don't want to release that baby because that's their creation. It's like their brainchild.
And also from the standpoint of the struggles of the freelancer, a lot of people who make vlogs want their stuff to look like a vlog, and it just starts to feel very samey sometimes.
Yeah, it kind of gets
so you have to find
old.
people who are truly interesting and creative.
Yeah.
You know?
More recently, I actually made a YouTube...
Everybody's just going to copy. Like, you get the people who are copying people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, everybody has a Casey Neistat video where they zoom in the lens and all of that. But recently, I made a video about this. I made a very different kind of video as to what I was normally making. For a separate company, they asked me to do kind of like a Now This style video. And if you haven't seen those videos, you probably have, honestly. But it's the videos that have music kind of driving it. There's text every now and then the visuals of the video match the text in some kind of ambiguous way, and it's creative in that way. You can take articles and make it into a video, and that's when I started going like, okay, I've never done anything like this before. I said that I can do this project, and now I have to execute on it. So how the heck do I do it? And that's when you start to study other people's videos within that same style, and I think that's how you expand your horizons. Also, editing for other people will expand your horizons. You learn
You've done
their
a lot.
workflow.
People have asked you to do things, and you've done a lot of in your head, you're going, never done that before. That sounds really intense. But to them, you're like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
There was somebody that I work with texted me basically a link to some...
Oh, can I interrupt you for a second? I apologize.
What do you want?
This camera supposedly does not have a recording limit. We are coming up on the 30-minute mark, which would normally shut the camera off on our previous camera. I would love to not have to bring this up, but there is a possibility that it's all lies and this might turn off. So we're going to watch ourselves go past 30, almost like it's like New Year's where we're like,
yeah.
And hopefully we move past it and things continue to happen. We continue to talk and lives continue to be changed. But we'll see how it goes. Carry on.
There's probably a setting that we should have flipped. But the good thing is this is primarily an audio-only podcast. So the 10 people who actually watch the video will...
disrespected our video watchers, Christina.
Well, shout out to you guys.
I watch it on video once.
Oh, so you're the 10. Anyway, so this person texted me, and it was like stop motion. Like, hey, do you think you can edit something like this? And I was like, I looked at it. And it's important to be able to dissect those things before you say yes. Like, have the confidence that you can actually do it. But I watched it and I was like, okay, I think I know how they did that. So I said yes to it. And I said,
well,
first
also
of all,
you come to me and you say, hey, do you know what's going on here?
Yeah, because I have the asset of having a James, which is basically two Christinas. One is actually more creative than Christina, but I won't say which Christina that is. Does that make sense?
This is where you edit in the equations over my face.
Essentially, I'm saying James is more creative than I am. Yeah, but I have the asset of having another business partner to go, okay, how can I make this? Like, you can direct me in whatever I'm doing.
And but you'll come to me and I'll be like, yeah, what they probably did there was this, and like I can put it together to
as long as
to a great degree. The question is, can I get it to 30 minutes? 30:01, hey! I can.
Do you feel better?
I can. I know. I can like figure out how to make the pieces come together. The question is, can you actually make it look good?
Yeah. So as long as, this is my theory, if I can watch something and go, okay, I can probably do that 90%. And then I have James watch it and go, okay, he can probably pick that apart 90%. Then that's like 180%. Yeah, and that's way more than 100. So, but...
Says math.
Yeah, says math. But what I did in that, because it is a paying project and I want to produce value, I don't want to just grab people's money. I said, I definitely think I could do that. I see how I could understand how they created that. What I'll do is I'll make something for my own self, for my own personal channel, and that'll be like my test run. So I'll start practicing, and then when we're ready to do it for this client, then, you know, I'll be able to execute. So that's actually the really fun part of having our YouTube channel and having like our freelance business, because if I get enough heads up, like, hey, I want you to make it look like, you know, the corner of the room is exploding, but not the rest of the room. Yeah. I go, okay, thank you. I will work on that, and I'll find a way to interestingly edit that into a video.
The thing that we did recently with the light bulb video.
That was what that was, yeah.
Somebody suggested stop motion, right?
Oh, yeah.
And on one of our live streams, I forget who it was, but thank you.
Too. Yeah.
They suggested stop motion. We're like, oh, that's interesting. So you kind of put that, you noted that. And then for the light bulb video, you decided, hey, we're going to do something where the light bulb kind of falls and rolls around, whatever. So we ended up like creating this really fun, interesting thing.
It wasn't stop motion though.
But there wasn't stop motion, but it started with the seed of stop motion, where you threw the thing over your shoulder and then it cuts.
It has like its own little
another
journey.
Shot of it hitting the ground, rolling the light bulb in the case, right? No light bulb in the case, just a little behind the scenes. There was actually no light bulb in there, so we didn't break one because they're not cheap. Yeah. And hit the ground, rolled over to the lamp, and then hit the lamp, bounced off. Then you picked it up, held it in your hand, like almost like one would hold a fine cheese before they eat it. Ooh. And then it like flew out of your hand, almost as if levitated by alchemy, and then landed in the lamp, and the lamp turned on.
Yeah. I think we need
You had never done anything like that.
I've never done anything like that. And I think that was more of a joint, okay, this is the vision. I want the lamp, I want the bulb to basically go on his own little journey. And then I want the lamp to turn on magically. Right. And so I had probably 90% of that vision. And I went to James and I go, okay, can you help me create this? And
how does it technically work? Like, I think one of the things I'm good at is putting the pieces together in my head.
You're good at taking the camera and making it happen. Here, just do it. Yeah. So so I say like 180%, but statistically speaking, if I have 90% like figured out, and then you have 90% figured out, the 10% that we're both missing, the other person probably has it. Right. Statistically speaking. Right. Every now and then it doesn't work that way, but that's why we have Google, and shout out to them.
That's such a crazy strength of us working together.
I never actually thought of that.
Yeah, I think we don't think about enough is how we're like 200% of a creator. Does that make sense? Like most people are a single 100% of a creator. We are two creators bundled into one. Yeah. And we have interesting things to offer our videos and people because of that.
I think so.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Thanks for making things with me. Thanks for creating things together. Another thing, and we're actually going to shoot this video right after filming this. So in theory, that video is up, and I will link it in the show notes. But
in the towel section, what is it? The towel section? What is it?
The towel section.
Super Carlin Brothers. I have no idea where that comes from.
I don't know what a towel section is. I think like when you're anyway. So like creating this podcast and doing the whole branding behind it and all of that. The only thing that's missing is actually a song. I need you to still make that.
I need a song. Oh, for this podcast.
Yeah, for this podcast.
But I really like the one that we currently have, which came from my podcast, by the way. I just kind of really like it for both podcasts.
Okay, then that's fine. Whatever. So, whenever we make things together, it's like
I don't know how to make a better one than that. Like, it's just kind of perfection in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's got a nice beat to it.
It's really tough to both be so opinionated, though. Like, that's been a struggle.
Really? It's been great for me.
You think?
Yeah. I enjoy it. I like the drama.
Drama alert. It's kind of interesting. And I think the way that we have maybe solved that so far is the Reds, this channel, is mine. I'm sorry. Yeah. The Reds are... Our main YouTube channel is mine. I get the final say. Like,
we decided that
51-49.
You are coming, when it comes to the Reds channel, you're coming to me with visions, and it's my job to trust you with those visions and allow you to carry those out.
It's like I'm the producer and you're the director of photography, essentially.
That's a good way to put it.
Thank you, James.
Hey, you're welcome. Okay.
Yeah.
Seriously, you're welcome.
Someone's salty. But it's been really interesting, and we've actually had to find a way to balance that power dynamic because we're both very, very opinionated. I think we've sort of figured that out for the Reds. For this podcast, I think we're maybe doing a little bit better on like balancing, like finding that middle ground. So
this is an interesting experiment.
This is definitely an interesting experiment. I think it's been good because I have to learn how to let go a little bit because James, if you haven't noticed, likes to ramble on about absolutely nothing all the time. He thinks his jokes are funny, and I think they're funny too whenever I'm editing. But in the moment, it's like, oh my gosh, James, just like, shut it.
I think it takes a lot of attention from you. You're like, what is he talking about? Avocado.
Shut up.
What is going on?
But after the fact, whenever I'm editing, I will laugh my head off because you're fairly...
You laugh?
Yeah.
What?
I
don't believe that. Can we need? You remember we've been talking about getting a Nest camera to put in the house for our random shenanigans. I need one at your editing station for when you laugh at one of my jokes because I don't believe it's possible.
Aha! That's it. Oh my gosh, James. All right.
That's what your laugh sounds like.
See, those are the things that it's like, okay, James, like we get it.
Christina, why do you sound so constipated when you laugh?
Stop. Oh my gosh. This is the stuff that he does that it's like, shut up. But it's funny. It's really funny. And I think other people enjoy.
There's one that I did a while I used to do, and my dad started doing it. It's like, Christina goes into a mode. You guys don't get to see this much. She goes into a mode where she cannot prevent laughing from happening. Like her stomach starts to hurt. She'll just
don't
go.
Do it again. It's like it's one of his funny things. I really think that one's
for
funny.
whatever reason, this is weird because I don't expect that. Thinking about the way you are, I wouldn't expect that this would be a dynamic that would work with you. But for whatever reason, really loud humor tends to really get you going.
Yeah, it's funny.
Like whenever I just go over the top with something, that's the thing that tends to make you laugh.
Yeah. But it's also the thing that irritates me. Because you'll get your stupid Wii U thing.
Yeah.
Please don't do it.
No, I'm not.
Okay, thank you.
I don't want to.
He used to do this.
I just don't have the energy for it.
He used to do this thing called woo, like just woo. But there was an
Wii.
He would.
And you have to have. There's a ratio of E's to O's, and I believe it was W. If you're spelling it out, W E O. You can have as many O's as you want. There has to be 2 E's, and so it's a wee, and then it goes wee like that. That's the idea.
That would be one of the most irritating.
That was from my early YouTube inspirations.
Yeah.
Such as Shay Carl used to do it a lot, and then
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
he would whenever he did something, it's like wee. And then Toby Turner, Tobuscus. He played video games, and he'd do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Wee.
He's not doing very much YouTube right now.
Yeah, he fell off. He had some controversy come afoot.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Where were we?
What were we talking about? So whenever
I'll let you finish your thought, and then
I didn't have a thought to
finish.
Did
you have any more thoughts?
No, I was just gonna talk about something else. Like, what do you want to do for dinner? I was gonna do hamburgers for dinner. You good with that?
Please, yeah.
Hamburgers and like not mashed potatoes, but like a.
Am I gonna have grains tonight though? That's big.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
No.
Why do you get to tell me that I'm not?
Because we don't have any grains for you to have.
I have bread.
This was supposed to be a joke, but it actually became a full-out conversation.
Also, there's that health food store up the road, and they have gluten-free buns.
Yeah, but we don't need to be
but I had it
buying
last night.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm still having diet recovery, so grains are tough.
So whenever we work together, I want to talk a bit about our scheduling because we're both very busy, which I am so grateful for how busy we have been. Like it is unbelievably amazing.
All the good ways we've been, like how
I don't think
the
there's
good types of busy.
For me, there hasn't been a bad type of busy in the last 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Since 2019, shout out to 2019 fam. I am getting so lit off of this year already. YOLO. God, I hate when I go through those it's like I black out.
You should keep that going until 2040.
2040.
YOLO, just don't stop saying
I've got 4 kids.
It doesn't matter if you lose your friends. Just hold on to it faithfully.
You're my only friend.
That's true.
So I might lose you.
You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to leave you.
But whenever
no matter how many YOLOs happen, I'll never leave you behind.
Thank you. So when we...
Because you know what?
Oh my God, James. This is the things that he does.
You know what?
What, James?
YOLO.
It's so stupid. It's like, I hate you, but you make me laugh. It's so sad. Just depression. A tear slowly falls down.
All right. Okay, let's talk about something that matters.
Yeah.
For a change.
Working freaking together.
Yes.
Scheduling.
Okay.
How are we doing with that? I feel like we're not doing very good.
We have a lot of work to do.
We have, because we're not, contrary to popular belief, we are not #couple goals.
This camera is really holding up right now. I'm very proud of it. We're at 42 minutes. Did you just thank me for saying that the camera was working?
I forgot what I thanked you for.
You did choose to buy it, so you're welcome.
Hold on. What did I thank you for?
I think
whatever. Go ahead. Just talk,
okay.
James. Stop. Yeah.
So
freaking drama. Wow. Most of this podcast is me complimenting you, and you're just getting on my lap. Okay. For you guys listening, I'm sorry for all of this anger and animosity. Let's talk about scheduling and how we are doing versus how we used to be doing, and how we can probably do better.
How we used to be doing was bad. How we are doing is less bad, and we are learning how to work together in the sense of creating something with a busy schedule.
We both have two different, we do the same thing. We sit at our desk and edit all day, but at the same time, we have two different schedules because we have two different projects that we're typically working on at any given point in time.
I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like we just started really trying to work together consistently.
I think
which is weird because we've made videos for a while now.
I think that we have just started trying to figure out how to work together consistently. We've always worked together consistently. It was just stressful. I think we're just now starting to figure out how to structure that into our day. And what's tough is, and this is very real life right now, but what's tough is with what I do, I edit, and then what he does is he edits, and then we have to find some time that also coordinates with what is going on outside and the lighting and the temperature and all of that, and we have to film videos together. So hold on, I have to burp. Say something. Okay, thank you.
Burps are when your body has a convulsion from within, the demons leave, and then you are free.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So with no, we can't cut this.
Can we talk about troubles?
Sure.
Okay, so one of my troubles is that you are hard
here
to deal with. No, it's one of my troubles is that crap, I lost my trouble.
Because there's nothing wrong with working with me.
No,
I think
it was a good trouble, and I can't remember what it was.
This is what happened yesterday when it comes to working together, and then I'll explain how we do it. So we have certain scheduled blocks of times of the calendar that we both share, and it's okay, shoot with the Reds, podcast with the Reds. But what can be a struggle for me personally is sometimes...
Trouble. We're talking about troubles. What can be a trouble for you? Use that terminology.
Okay. What can be a trouble for me?
Thank you.
Is sometimes I'm not feeling it, and honestly, I should have not have given it.
So we'll plan to do it at 2, and then it's like 2:35, and you're still working on a thing because you have momentum towards that thing.
Right.
Where I come in there, I'm like, and then I move on to a different thing, and then you're ready, and then now I'm washing the dishes or something.
Yeah. So it can be.
You have this big overlap issue that happens at all times.
Yeah, our whole life is just overlapping and not lining up. But for example, yesterday I didn't feel like shooting that video. I should have shot that video. That's what is called discipline, and I need to practice it. And what can be tough is I expect that discipline from you. When it's time to go, I expect you to go. But when it's time for me to go, it's like, oh, my hair is not done.
Yeah. What I was going to say, because it keeps going in and out, now I remember, is that when you, when I'm working with you, I will consider it to be something that is separate from the work I'm doing for myself in my mind, right? So I have my projects that take up, that are a priority for me.
Oh, so you're selfish?
And then when you want to do something with me, in my head I have the tendency to put that on top of my projects, and I go, let me make room within my projects to insert your project. What I need to do, and I think what is a healthier, what I've been trying to do, and what is a healthier way of going about things, is to integrate you with my projects. That I have the parts that I'm doing on my own, and then I have the parts that we do together, but they're all intertwined. They're all important. They're all towards our collective success.
Right.
And the ones with you are things that I should be just as excited about as the ones for me.
Yeah,
but I can feel like you're interrupting me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I hate that. I really struggle with that.
I think that just has to do with like how much, not so much that like how much you value it, but it's like it's me versus you sometimes. And I think that's something that we need to communicate a bit better about and go, okay, like, yes, he has his own video. He's doing a voiceover. He's got this own thing going on. And then we do, like, sometimes I need to step back and sometimes you need to step up, if that makes sense. Right. So our balance in
and it's just
working
it's
together,
overcoming the selfish tendencies that we all have, I think, too.
Yeah. And I think because we're both very strong-minded, we're both very, very selfish. And it's more like us working together, you know how you have, like, when you leave IKEA, you can hit a button and it's like happy, sad, not so happy, not so sad.
Yeah. Which is it's an amazing invention, by the way.
I think our personal relationship correlates with our work relationship. If I'm pissed at you, we're not going to make a video together.
Well, and a lot of it is if we've had turmoil in the past, creating things, if we've had catastrophes happen, our brain starts to interpret the next creative opportunity as another potential catastrophe.
It's like
which
predestination for
a little
creating.
thing called depression, where you don't have the energy to try to do something together because the last time you did it, it sucked.
It's exhausting.
But
it's like personally, I feel like if we quit creating things together, then podcast name. If we quit
no longer creating things together.
If we quit making videos and being like business partners and stuff, then it's like our relationship has failed. And I don't know if that's like, I mean, there's a deeper aspect of the relationship, honestly. But if we give up on this, then like, what's next?
I just don't even see that
it's
as
not
an option.
Which is how we...
Like, I hear people... There's certain things in life where I hear people go, I just, I felt like giving up. And to me, when it comes to those certain things, like, or failing, right? To me, failing and giving up on something that I'm passionate about, or something that in our case is literally what our relationship is. Like, it's like you can't it's like you can't take the salt off the beans, right? It is you can't unsoup the soup. It is our relationship that we are creating things together.
Hey.
And
so I think what is interesting about that is that's how we see our marriage. It's not an option to fail.
It's not, absolutely.
What else are we going to do?
Yeah.
Be homeless?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really correlate, but it's like, it's not an option to not be married forever. It's not an option. I mean, I'm sure it is an option to like not make things together forever, because we might find other things that we're passionate about. But you get my point.
I don't know how to look at it that way even, right? Where
if we do that based off of emotion.
Because our relationship fundamentally has built into it the idea of us doing life together. And what is life for us? Well, a huge portion of life is creating for us.
Yeah.
We're doing that together. It's like like I said, it's like trying to separate a soup.
Unsoup the soup.
It's like trying to get, like if you throw peanut butter and chocolate into a melting pot, it's like trying to get those two to come apart. It can't happen.
So one interesting thing that I've seen, and I think that we both have to be very careful of, especially me, because my goals can grow exponentially within minutes. I think I have to always come to James and be like, okay, what's the direction that we're heading right now? Where are you at? Because I want to make sure that we're always aligned, because we do have our two separate things, which I think is very healthy for us. Like the whole world doesn't revolve around one big thing. It's our each separate passions, each separate channels, that kind of thing.
I think having separate and then together is a very healthy balance.
I think that it's very important for us to always come and like have a meeting like once every 3 months. I'm like, okay, this is what, like, I'm stoked to be editing this much. How are you feeling about editing this much? And I want to start traveling in the summer. Like, where are you at with that? How are you going to both satiate each other's needs? Is that a word? Satiate?
Yeah, that's a very good word.
Is it the proper use of the word?
Yeah, satiate. That would be, I'll look up the definition.
I dropped out of college, guys.
Satiate, so that we can actually put a definition to how good of a word that is, because I know it's a good one.
Thank you.
Unless I'm wrong.
So it's
I was once.
Stupid. I think it could definitely be a struggle working together, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Go ahead and interrupt me, James.
Satisfied to the full.
Oh, yay.
That's what satiated means.
Gosh, soup satiates me.
It also means...
I'm serious. Soup seriously satiates me.
Does it?
That's an alliteration. I love soup so much, guys. We should have soup pretty soon. Oh my gosh, more S's.
Well, it's another word for sate, whatever that means.
Tim.
And the sentence that is underneath that, to give context, he folded up his newspaper. His curiosity satiated. So to sate something is to satisfy.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I need to be sated. No, because that would be I need to be satiated. How would you use that in a sentence?
I dropped out of college, so clearly
Where's
I don't
Alex
care.
Trebek when you need him, you know?
Yeah.
What were we talking about, Christina?
I don't know. I'm exhausted. Creating things together is exhausting.
Communication.
Like both of us. That's an exhausting thing.
Yes. So we kind of started with schedule. Yeah. Communication.
What is it?
How do we do it better?
Leave it in the comments down below.
I think one way we could fix all of our problems is have all of our conversations on a live stream.
Oh yeah, because we can't argue.
Because we have to be fully here, but also like we have a third party. So
we have referees.
We're very aware of how we sound. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
I think both of us, when we have really tough conversations about creativity what you don't like about me and what I don't like about you and all that fun stuff, is that we are...
Hold on, can I stop you?
Sure.
It sounds like we argue all the time. And I just want to let you guys know it's because we do. But it's healthy.
I will say, a quick side note, I had a wonderful insight into what marriage should be from, I watched Jordan Peterson a lot. And
it should just be anger and rage.
He has a lot of wonderful things to say about marriage and personal development. But one of the things that he said about marriage was that it should be two people going at it sometimes. That you have two different people with different goals. Holding hands, beautiful. Two different people with different goals. Are we going to do this the whole time?
Yeah, just the entire podcast. Hi, guys.
We're holding it above our heads, by the way. So we have two different people with two different goals, and there's going to be drama. There's going to be one person not being very happy with the current situation. The other person may not even realize that that person is unhappy, but they are, or vice versa. The other person's not happy, this person's happy. You have to have conversations that are actually difficult, because real conversations that make good things happen in life, conversations that grow you, conversations that make life better, are often very difficult. There's a lot of hard stuff that you have to sort through. There's a lot of crap. It's painful. It's emotionally very tough. I thought that a marriage, the ultimate place to reach in a marriage,
is bliss.
Was that not bliss, but that people, and this is because my parents never argued in front of me ever, like one time, which is amazing. I realize how rare that is. I thought that marriage meant
never one time, like not even once.
Not really. Like if my mom ever was talking to him and there was like a hint of seriousness in the conversation, he would make a joke. Like he would always joke and say, "Hey, don't yell at me," but as a joke. Yeah. You know what I mean?
James says it to me and I yell at him. You don't tell me.
I thought that the place you reached was that everything is kind of just okay, right? Like, hey, we have sorted out our issues and everything's just kind of peaceful and restful, and we reached a place where we just, I don't know. I mean, we sit on our recliners and watch freaking Sports Center and don't ever have any problems, right?
Yeah.
But I realized that marriage is about us two trying to go through and do life together. And what is doing life? Doing life can be
highs,
very difficult.
Lows. That's bows.
You said it, sister.
Goodness.
So,
you said it, sister. This is... Oh my gosh.
And that will be a snippet for Twitter.
That's so funny. Oh man.
Life is going to be very, very difficult. It's going to have a lot of difficult parts.
Life is going to be a highway.
Stop.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're going crazy. It's been an hour.
You should have conversations that are tough.
Yes.
That's one of the parts of marriage that happens and makes marriage become so tight and so special, is that you actually do talk about the things that are hard.
Yeah, as opposed to just...
Both externally and within the relationship.
Externally? What do you mean?
Meaning if something horrible, you work at a job and something really
I thought you were
frustrating
talking
happens,
about
or somebody dies or something like that. I go through that with you.
Wow, that got dark.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that you were talking about us talking about our issues externally, which is a big no-go.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying external problems. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you go through something, life is also full of
that horrible coworker that I had one time. God, she was the worst.
But also, if you go through something really terrible and really sad, you're gonna come to me and I'm gonna hear all of that. And so it's my job to experience that with you.
Or when I'm struggling with something.
And that's a very hard thing. And sometimes I want you to handle it right, but you're in an emotional state, so I can't just be like, hey, you know what? I know you're one of your closest friends just died, but
why do you keep saying that?
I'm giving you a really horrible example.
No, give me a better example. That one's sad.
Your dog died?
James.
Your fish?
Do not talk about Cooper.
What animal it would be
Don't kill anything.
Okay,
just talk about I know the chicken went bad or something.
Yeah, but that's just everyday life. That's mundane misery. I'm talking about the real misery. So something really hurtful or sad happens in your life, you come to me, you say, James,
James, I'm sad. I need a hug.
This really sucks. I feel this way. I feel like nothing is ever going to get better again. Right. Like just like completely irrational statements. And it's my job to figure out how to deal with that. That's hard for me because I don't want you to be sad. I want you to handle it rationally, and by the way, I'm not just saying because you're a woman you handle it irrationally. I do the same thing.
I didn't even bring it there.
I come to you and I'll say things that are just completely ridiculous, and I know they're ridiculous, but I'm feeling that at that time.
I get the joy of being the voice of reason and going, okay, first of all, you need to calm down.
But right, sometimes that's
sometimes that's important, sometimes it's not.
My point is sometimes it's hard to figure out what to do, but sometimes I just need to be like, yeah, that really sucks. And I'm sorry that's going on. And those are among the many conversations in marriage that are hard, but so necessary. And your goal, I think, in marriage is to reach a place where you're always having those conversations, because it's not going to be a utopia. You have to have those conversations, and there's actually really good things that come out of those conversations. The goal is to figure out how to have those conversations and come out the other side feeling like both people.
It's like, okay, we did that.
We lifted each other up. We were there.
Yeah.
We were the friends we needed to be for each other. And that takes a lot of time. That's an art I have not figured out yet.
Yeah, we're getting there.
But anyway, back to talking about creating.
We're better than when we were at 16. Yeah, that got so real. And I'm just out here trying to talk about editing videos, James. No one's trying to get that real.
So when it comes to creative conversations, I think that we need to be patient with each other.
Yes.
I think we need to come into conversations going,
no expectations. Let's just talk.
Let's just talk about what is happening today, and we're going to figure this out. And I'm going to listen to you. I'm not going to talk too fast. I
feel like you're saying something about me right now.
No. This is about us. For one, I do this all the time to you, but I think we both do it to each other.
But when you talk too fast, I just tune you out.
But not like I'm talking really fast like this. I'm saying like, you say a thing and you don't even get your thought out, and I'm like, yeah, but blah, blah.
Oh, I do that.
Stupid stuff.
I did that this entire podcast.
No, this is funny. This is banter. This is different.
Oh. Can I just use that cop out as like, James? But this is banter.
This is just banter.
Come on, bro.
We need to kind of like take a step back and just be calm and patient with each other. Allow the person to get their thoughts out, and then the other person gets their thoughts out. Make sure we prioritize making each other feel like they're listened to, and that we're not writing each other off. All the things that
I feel so targeted.
And we feel sometimes.
I feel so targeted right now because I feel like while you say that, I feel like I do all of those things.
Well, I mean, congratulations. I feel like I do all of those things too.
We're both broken humans together.
Right.
One day we'll all just be memories.
That's a good way to put it. We're both broken humans trying to navigate life.
We're both broken humans trying to create good things that aren't broken.
Right.
So
I think we need to do that. I think we need to respect each other's visions. I think we need to trust each other more. I think we do a lot of like assuming that something might happen that's not actually happening instead.
But you have to allow those things to happen so you can change it. Like the other day.
Sure.
When I was talking about how you word things.
Sure.
I have to allow you to do it so I can then point it out and go, hey, I think this could be improved upon, as opposed to like having the hammer of like, shut up, boy.
No, but there's a place for that, but also I think trusting that each person is doing their best, and that learning how to think that the horrible thing that I'm worried about might not actually be happening. There's a chance that I don't even have to worry about this thing that I'm talking to her about because she might not actually be doing it.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah. One last thing before we wrap this up. Okay. I wanted to go back to freelancing because for a little bit of background for you guys listening, I and James, James and I both work from home.
James We and Company.
Thank you. LLC. We both work from home.
.com.
We used to not work from home, but we have gone this route, and I wanted to talk about why we did it, why we're doing it. And I think we could talk about freelancing like as its own completely separate topic, but I just wanted to touch on really, really quick before we ended this, like why did we do this in specific? Do you have anything to say about it?
The last thing I'll say, just to put it, because I like to put bows on things.
No, please don't put a bow on it.
Be present.
Thank you.
I'm just saying be present in our conversations. Like right now we're very present.
Okay. I'm looking into your beautiful green eyes and all thousands of your freckles. Have you? Anyway, I was wondering if you've ever counted your freckles, but there's a point that you can't count your freckles because they just are.
Aren't we moving on?
Yeah. See, that's when you put bows on things, it gets me sidetracked. So freelancing, I have stuff to say, but I can't say it right away because I'm the one that asked the question, and that would be very narcissistic of me. So say something in 30 seconds so I can say a thought.
About what? What am I talking about?
Why we chose freelancing. Why are we doing this? This is just like a little taste. And if you guys are interested in, anything that we have to say about it, then leave us a comment.
So we're not going to go into full detail about this topic.
No. We're just going to tip the iceberg.
And then we'll talk about freelancing more later.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the
present
Passover. So the reason why we do freelancing is because jobs suck. So if you want to hear more about that,
that was 30 seconds. Good, thank you.
No, we prioritize freedom. We prioritize freedom in our time. We prioritize freedom in our money. And a lot of jobs actually don't give you freedom in your money. They give you security in your money. But there's a difference in security and freedom.
Yes.
If you're working smaller jobs, if you're working part-time jobs, there's a cap to what you're going to make.
Yep.
Right? That's problematic because we want to try to make more. We want wealth to be a tool for us. We want abundance to be a tool for us.
Yeah, I don't care about like making $100,000 a year, but if I need $100,000 a year to do what I want to do, then yeah, I'll make it. If I need $200,000 a year to do what I want to do, then I have to make $200,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's a resource. It's a tool for our goals.
I literally could care less about being a millionaire. But if I need $1 million because I want to do something that costs that much, then I'm going to rob a bank.
See, for me, it's a little bit different. I want to accumulate as much as possible.
Oh, yeah?
Because I want to have all of that available to make my goals scale.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. I think we're saying the same thing, though.
And also, I want to give. That's another thing. But so there's the money side. There's also the time side, which I would argue is more important than the money side.
So for me, the time is massive. If we worked a day job, it would be so much harder to schedule what we're doing now.
Right.
Like I have the luxury, and I feel like I say it all the time, but I feel very blessed and very lucky to be as busy as we are right now. This morning, like I can go to the gym that's 30 minutes away. That takes
You don't have to call anybody.
No, I don't have to call anybody. Yeah. I just have to make sure that I hit my deadlines.
Also traveling.
Traveling is huge.
Remember how hard traveling can be when it's like you have to call, you have to talk, you have to go have a meeting with your manager and say, hey, so I got this thing coming up, and then can we do this? I don't even like asking, can I go on this trip?
Yeah,
They shouldn't have a say.
Nobody really tells me what I do and when I go do it. I want to have control over that.
That was way more exhausting for me than it was for you. It's very business for you, and you handle that very well.
For me, I think it's like right now the state, because we're not going to be freelancers for the rest of our lives, but the stage that we're at right now, I think it's that we are in the right place in the right time, because right now we're trying to scale what we're doing. We're trying to create more content, more videos, more podcasts, like all of the things. And I think it's important to be able to have that freedom. And I didn't realize how kind of easy it is to get into freelancing, but it has to be the right kind. And it starts with networking. You can't just start with freelancing. You can't do Fiverr. That's like, honestly, in my opinion, a waste of time. The amount of time for the amount of value.
It's hard to start. It's really hard to start.
I guess it's hard
my experience.
I guess it's hard to start, but once you get the ball rolling, it's like, holy crap.
And if you don't know where, you just kind of flounder around for a long time.
That's why.
And then you finally get like 2 relationships, and then you start to get a little bit of money.
Yeah. To go to your first point, that's why you ask the right questions to the right people.
Absolutely.
But so that's going to be another
Good
topic.
memory.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's going to be another topic well in the future. But yeah, I think this is a good place to wrap it up. This was a long podcast, and I think we were able to get out what we needed to get out.
I'd love to talk more about freelancing and just the fact that it's freedom for us.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
If that's something that you guys are interested in, leave a comment below if you're watching YouTube, and this is just a plug, leave a rate or review on iTunes, rate and review on iTunes, because that helps us out, number one, and it's also a good spot to gauge where you guys are at. If you guys have any questions, that would be an interesting place to leave them. Also give us your opinion, like what you're enjoying. But if you have a question, feel free to leave it in there, and I'll be more.
Can you reply to a review, though?
I don't think you can reply to a review, but we can make a podcast.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. So
good point.
That's something that I want to obviously talk a bit more about.
Yeah.
Like structurally for the podcast, like beginning and end kind of thing. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this podcast so far,
this interludeless podcast,
if you've enjoyed it so far, let us know. But other than that, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for creating with me, James. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
I really do. I don't think I say it enough. I don't think you say it enough to me. I don't think we appreciate each other enough, but I'm very grateful to have the creative powerhouse that we do.
I already love this podcast because it makes us say nice things to each other.
I know, right? This is not like we never say nice things to each other. But yeah, stay curious, guys. Do all of the things. Expand your horizons. Go to Mars. I don't know what I'm saying. We should probably end it. You have anything to say? Okay, goodbye. See ya.